Welcome everybody to the second game of this series. Yes, it may be a little bit weird, but we are starting with the second game just because game number one was played about a week ago or so. And of course this is Flipside versus Lemondogs, who, well, used to be 4FC, if you're wondering like what the hell, you haven't seen such a series before. But yes, they have finally acquired themselves a sponsor, Lemondogs for them. But we had to postpone, or they had to postpone this, I should say, just because Flipside was getting DDoSed at the time. So hopefully for this time it's going to be fine. We are of course HeflaTV, I'm Couchor, and I am going to be joined by Danelie. How you doing?
It's looking pretty good today. This was actually pretty awkward just to start off with the game too. I'm pretty sure a couple of other people, not just in Twitch, but even people watching in the client are thinking, wow, this is game two already. When did the first game happen? It happened, but yeah, DDoS. Everyone's things, unfortunately. I really hope teams start to do stuff about this DDoSing stuff. Like, if you prepare for it, you can definitely avoid being DDoSed. But I think teams are just not respecting the fact that DDoSing exists.
Yeah, it's probably the fact that until you get DDoSed yourself, you don't care about it. And
Yeah.
then suddenly you get hit and you're like, I wish I would have taken countermeasures before. Just because if you like get hit, there's no like fast fix for it, pretty much.
Oh no.
So
It's either it's fast and costly or it's cheap but it will take forever. That's normally how it goes when it comes to countermeasures for things like DDoSing. It's so cheap to DDoS as well, it's ridiculous. I'm not going to go into details of it because I don't want people in Twitch chat DDoSing any of these teams because I would love to go through a series unscathed.
that's usually the thing you would like from a game. Like from everybody's perspective, teams, admins, viewers, like everybody just gains from a normal game. Well, okay,
Yeah.
maybe not the guys who are losing their bets at the time, but that's another story. But coming into this draft now, we do have Flipside going for a first pick IO. I sincerely hope that we're gonna get the Chaos Knight to go with that one. Recently,
I
Chaos
hope we get.
Knight has appeared a little bit more often than in the past, but even then, Chaos Knight just, it's too rare of a pick.
It's just there's so many other heroes that can do what CK does better though. You can just grab the tiny, you get an AoE stun. You don't get a single target stun, you get an AoE stun. You get extra burst damage in the toss. You can also use the toss as an initiating tool by tossing heroes for such as Axe, tossing the Wisp so they can get the tether slow as well on those targets. So in all honesty, if you can grab the tiny, I would prefer a tiny in the late game
But
compared to a
Tiny doesn't
Chaos
have a
Knight.
horse.
You don't need a horse. The tiny is the horse. The wisp rides the tiny. So
Okay
you're
then.
still mounting into combat.
Well, as long as there's some mounting, I guess it's fine. But Lemondogs, of course, they did start with an Earthshaker and Storm Spirit. Earthshaker is just a solid support all in all. And I do believe 4FC there, at least they have had quite some success with the Earthshaker beforehand, going into, I wouldn't say like a semi-carry role, but the plays that have come out from the Earthshakers have been really just monumental. But flip side, a Legion Commander.
This is interesting. It's a very early Legion Commander as well. We don't really see a lot of Legion Commander at all. We have to admit this, Coucher. We very rarely see any sort of Legion Commander. I think when she first came into Captain's mode, teams tried to experiment with Legion Commander, but she just didn't really seem to fill our expectations. A lot of people were saying, oh, Legion Commander is going to be so strong in Captain's mode just because she's going to get extra damage from all of these duels, but a lot of the times in these games, Legion Commander's not going to get a full duel off unless the team is ahead and the Legion Commander can survive the initial burst. Because Legion as a hero, she's not really that tanky. She will benefit from strength items and she gets the free damage from the duels, but she's pretty weak during the early game. She needs a lot of help from her team to get those early duels, to get the early damage, and from there to snowball with the extra duel damage. So I don't know if this is going to be the offlane Legion commander that we see a lot, or if it's going to be a carry Legion with that Wisp. It'll be very interesting if we see a carry Legion this game.
Yeah, depending on the tri lane that Lemondogs will put up in their safe lane, they might run like an IO Legion Commander dual lane as well in the off lane. I've seen it work a couple of times. Power Rangers, they just used to play IO Legion Commander so often. So we'll see. Definitely their options are open here. And Legion Commander, well, his ultimate, it is definitely a nice tool in just locking down the Storm Spirit. If you can land it on him, that's probably the bigger issue maybe for Legion. But looking at the next set of bans, Brood Mother removed, as is the Queen of Pain by Lemondogs. And Ancient Apparition plus a Dazzle banned out by Flipside. Of course, Dazzle is great against the duel. You just Shallow Grave somebody, and yes, even though the target may die anyway after Shallow Grave expires, at least you're not giving away duel damage. And, well, Ancient Apparition just to make it so that their IO heal won't be negated.
Yeah. So we're going to get a Phoenix pickup, actually, for the third hero for Lemondogs. I kind of have a feeling this is going to be a support Phoenix, just because they have an Earthshaker to back the Phoenix up, but this could still be the traditional offlane Phoenix. Phoenix is going to give you a lot of the anti-team fight capabilities, and the Fire Spirits are going to help you so much with the Legion Commander. She does get the bonus the bonus attack speed from press the attack, but that's if they throw that after the Fire Spirit. So I feel like this Phoenix, he's going to play a big role in these team fights, but Legion, if the Legion can actually shut the Phoenix down, he still has to deal with the Earthshaker and Storm Spirit. So we're going to need a lot of anti-team fight control on the side of Flipside to either shut down the Phoenix or to just go for pickoffs, because they do have a superior pickoff draft compared to Lemondogs. Lemondogs, their draft looks like it's more team fight oriented, whereas Flipside, they just want to go for those quick pickoffs, and this Lina is also a signal to that. She's a good team fighter as well, but she has a lot of potential with the burst coming from that Laguna Blade for Lemondogs. They're going to go for their own mini Lina with this Lion.
Well, Lion is probably a little bit more reliable, at least lockdown-wise. Burst, of course, is a much longer cooldown. 160 seconds on the first level compared to the 70 seconds of Lina. But is this going to be yet another one of the games where Lina goes into the mid lane? Because that really seems to be trending at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Lina, she has a lot of burst potential. I don't really want to say she doesn't need too many items to come online. She definitely benefits if she has them. Getting the getting the Aghanim Scepter on the Lina means that even though Lemondogs may try to go for a BKB to get a little bit of control and also to negate a lot of the magical damage as well as disables coming out from Flipside, you're still going to be taking a lot of damage, and that Laguna Blade will be very potent once she gets the Ags, or if she just gets those really early levels. So if we look at Flipside's draft, they really want to go for pickoffs. They can go for team fight now, just because they've drafted the Silencer. They're going to have that global silence. And if you look at Lemondogs, everything that they have needs spells to survive. They're all squishy heroes. They're all going to be relying on a lot of mobility or their spells for control. So if Flipside just takes these fights with global silences and do not try to initiate into Lemondog before the cooldown of it, if it's already been used, then Flipside, I can definitely see their draft really rolling over Lemondogs, unless they somehow screw up badly.
The Silencer now, the first thing I thought is, man, Flipside, they really like to get extra things. They want dual damage with Legion, they want to steal silence or intelligence for the Silencer. Of course, I mean, if you steal like 2 intelligence from a Storm Spirit, it's not that big of a deal. But if you manage to get more kills into the Storm Spirit, steal like 10 for example, it definitely can add up a little bit. Just Storm Spirit 1 zip less for example may mean that death of him maybe doesn't have enough mana to suddenly dodge a Light Striker race, something like that. So we'll see. Global Silence definitely is nice. Like you already pointed out, Lemondogs, they are extremely reliant on spell usage. And well, for now, what could they even go for? I guess something like a Bristleback to maybe try to just have a frontliner for themselves, or...
Yeah, they need to finalize that draft with a tanky frontliner, but they need to make sure that that hero can survive the initial burst coming out from Flipside during the global silence. They have to have something to be able to survive through the fight and also contribute to the team fights as well. So what's actually available? You mentioned the Bristleback. He is going to be useful. He's also a really good mech carrier as well if you want to go for that, or they can go for something really greedy and go for a Spectre. Oh, I'm a little bit worried for Lemondogs. They have a very greedy draft.
It's always scary if you go for a greedy draft, but it's now up to Flipside to punish that. Of course, Flipside, they are a team that likes to play rather aggressive. For example, in the first game's draft, they ran like a Wind Ranger mid lane with Axe off lane and then a Queen of Pain safe lane, I think it was. So Flipside definitely known to play rather aggressive here, and with the IO Legion Commander, once those two heroes hit level 6 plus the Lina as well, they really should have an easy time in trying to maybe control Lemondogs, or at least make it so the Spectre doesn't completely snowball out of control or something. Although snowballing as a Spectre takes so much. And probably it's... I don't even know what's like a slower version of a snowball.
Yeah, Spectre really does require a lot of items to come online. It could be the early, I don't know, I don't want to really say this, but it could be that kind of
Wow.
Spectre that fights a little bit early. I haven't seen an Alchemist in so long, Coucher. I really haven't seen an Alchemist. Is this
So
a support Alch or is it a core Alch?
I would think it's gonna be a support Silencer and IO with safe lane
Unicorn.
Alchemist, maybe even going for Grievous Creed. Just, I want to see Grievous Creed, go for Midas, farm like a madman, because you're gonna be 6 slotted like 4 times faster than a Spectre will.
Yeah, absolutely. Unicorn's going to be playing the Alchemist as well, so this is actually going to be a core Alch. It's not going to be a support Alchemist. This would be
It's
interesting, Couch.
At the moment they are probably gonna take advantage of the fact that Lemondogs, they're not gonna have the greatest laning phase here. It shouldn't be like super weak or anything. The supports can still definitely roam around a little bit, but Alchemist should have pretty much absolute free farm. So they're just gonna bet on that. Hope for the Alchemist to get enough farm, but it's really been so long, like you said, of seeing an Alchemist. So I really don't know even what to expect, like what kind of skill build. Maybe he does want to just start fighting early on. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, think about it. He can fight early because there's a Wisp on the side of Flipside. And what happens when you have a Wisp? If you have something like an Alchemist who just charges up the unstable concoction before the relocate, by the time they actually arrive at the location, it should be charged up enough to go for that significant amount of stun. And anyone that's going to be caught by that is probably going to be dead. Unless the Alch is incredibly underfarmed, which should not happen because he's got that Grieval's Greed. So it's kind of a cheeky play coming out of Flipside. It's really, really uncommon. You typically see things like your Tiny, maybe even your Sven. I've seen Sven more than CK, which is surprising for me. Sven has just fallen off in every department, but we still see him more than CK.
You know why
It
Sven
makes
is
me
a
sad.
really good hero? He's just so straightforward. He's just, he comes, he attacks, and that's what he does pretty much. He just runs at you and
Oh,
smacks you. That's how easy it
he
is.
just smack, he just smacks you with his big sword, and that's about it. CK, he has to try and smack you with his big sword on his horse. A little bit more difficult, but well, I
Well, he
guess
has
it's
more spells to make up for that, I guess, but at the moment, Plan, I really thought that this bottom rune is going to be safeguarded by Lemondogs, but they were hoping for the IO to go for the top rune instead and try to maybe get an easy kill on the squishy IO at the start, but with this, Plan already has his bottle, and this dual off lane, it's not gonna be even that bad, especially considering that Earthshaker is going towards the top side at the moment. And well, I guess we have to introduce the lineups fast as well. So Earthshaker will be handled by Ares Loco, leaving Krilly on the offlane Phoenix with E-skills being the Storm Spirit mid lane, Steph Style the support line, and the last one is going to be Chaps on the Spectre. But this Spectre is definitely gonna need support on this lane.
Yeah, they're gonna really have to rotate a support in just to be sure that Spectre can actually get something in this lane and not be picked off as well. When that Legion gets level 6, I'm definitely gonna be seeing kills coming out from this off lane on the side of Flipside. But I'll introduce the players. We're gonna start down bottom. We have Ace, who is going to be handling our Legion Commander. Bland is going to be safeguarding him with that bottle on the Wisp. Baby Knight will be playing our Lina in the middle lane, whereas up top we have Unicorn playing on our surprise pick Alchemist this game. And lastly we have Rise on our Silencer, who's just going for the standard pulls.
So Silencer, support Silencers at least do tend to go for Hand of Midas if they get the reasonable amount of farm. Bottom lane Ares Loco already taking some harassment. Ace trying to catch up Earthspike, only lands on the IO, but with the Fisher as well, I think everybody should be fine. But the amount of bullying a dual offlane can do, such a dual lane, and oh, they might catch Steph Style if they get the slow. Nice tango usage though, a nice Earthspike to follow. Steph Style, I think he's gonna be fine, or is he Ace? He's still pretty speedy, chaps. Has to come in with that slow, the Stifling Dagger, and now Bland, does he have another tether? He does! Oh wow, if only Earthshaker was a ranged hero.
If only he was. Well, I guess that's the disadvantage when you run the Earthshaker, but he still has his perks. The fissure is going to be so good, especially up against not just Ace, but also Unicorn on the Alchemist, because they're both melee heroes, and that fissure, it can be extremely annoying. If Ares Loka can throw some good positioning fissures, it can pretty much dislocate these heroes from each other, and they can either try and go for pickups with them, or just pretty much cut them off and maybe just leave them there, I suppose. Sometimes it's better just to leave the threat alone than to kill it, because you may lose something else in return.
So looking at the Alchemist, already 2 points into the Grievous Creed, getting so much gold from it. 20 extra gold now if he gets it lasted. Well, it's going to tick down, of course. It does have a timer to it, but it's going to be so much extra income. Does he already have something purchased? No, not quite yet. Just went for boots first. Just to make sure that Phoenix can't go for like a sneaky kill if the supports should leave the Alchemist be there. But things so far rather passive apart from just the almost kill happening on IO.
Yeah, so pretty passive up top. I'm expecting Flipside to actually try and grab a kill on one of the... Sorry, I'm expecting Lemondogs to try and grab a kill on one of these two heroes down the bottom lane. Because I've mentioned this in a couple of my previous casts. If you're going up against a dual lane and you're running a defensive tri-lane, if you don't get anything in your defensive tri-lane against this aggressive dual lane, essentially you've lost the lane. Because the heroes that are running the dual lane, they're going to be of a higher level than you. They're probably still getting farm if they're managing to hang around. And if they haven't died yet, that's even worse for you, because your tri-lane, your supports are going to be so under-leveled compared to the support plus the off-lane that's in this aggressive dual lane. So this Ares Loka, he really has to grab a good fissure on most likely Ace. Ace would probably be the easiest hero to kill, just because Blan, if Ace is really good with his positioning, then Blan can pretty much just tether himself out over the fissure. But they're quite passive for the moment. Ares Loka, he's going to grab the rune, but he may run into trouble here. Blan as well as Ace, they're going to be there. Actually, that fissure's not going to block them out though, but we have a hasted Storm Spirit going to walk in. He's losing quite a bit of HP there, but he wants to go right after Blan. There's the Vortex as well. This is going to be first blood at will. So Wisp, he's going to go down to Erskine, and actually Ace might be in trouble. Nope, he looks like he's going to be safe on his side of the map. But good pick off there for Lemondogs. They needed to do something about the bottom lane. They managed to kill off the Wisp.
Yeah, it's Legion Commander who was just pulling so far ahead of the Spectre chaps now. Up to 10 last hits, but Legion Commander still has 8 more. And like I said, it's a dual versus tri-lane. So Flipside, they were definitely winning the lane. And Optimist even giving away the IO kill. Not that bad as Deathstyle. Might get chased down by Ace. He needs a stun. No. He does dodge the fissure though. So Ace not gonna go just fully commit on that one. Really though, a little bit low on health, Rise. If he comes in about 5 seconds with the last word, that might be a kill on Phoenix.
Yeah, and also with the last word as well, even though Krilly might throw the Icarus dive, if the last word comes in, if he gets silenced up, Krilly's not getting out of there. He's just going to dive back to where he is originally, and well, he's not going to throw the dive because he knows he's going to be silenced up anyway, so there's going to be the silence, and unfortunately there for Flipside, they're not going to be able to grab the kill onto Krilly, and he's just going to regen up with his Tranquil Boots. So Phoenix, he can just hang around for as long as he wants now.
Those Tranquil Boots are so damn beneficial for him. Of course, he has to at the moment at least rely on just getting last hits with the Fire Spirits, because if he goes for attack, Tranquil Boost disabled and you won't get that regen all of a sudden. Mid lane though, E-skills from this point onwards has to be a little bit more careful than otherwise, because Baby Knight does have himself the Laguna Blade. But I guess like that's of course one advantage over the Storm Spirit. For example, that roaming is a hell of a lot easier for the Storm Spirit. You just TP to a tier 1, you ball lightning in. Whereas as a Lina, maybe as a reactive TP to just a dive or something, yes it's nice, just come in, pop Laguna Blade, that's a kill. But aggressively going for a TP as a Lina is a hell of a lot harder, so Lina more of a stationary hero in the mid lane, I think.
Yeah, she's a very bursty hero, and she's very immobile until she gets a Yule Scepter or a Blink Dagger. So for the moment, she's literally just a walking nuke. That's it. She can't really do anything else for a team. She can try and go for TP reactions, but she's not going to get in those fights as quickly as Erskine will on the Storm Spirit. So Storm Spirit, he's boasting his advantages, whereas Baby Knight on the Lina, pretty much the same.
So if we look at the last hit numbers now, Flipside, well, if you only look at last hits, they're pretty much winning every single lane. Especially bottom lane, Spectre still only 14 last hits compared to the 37. And somehow, the Legion Commander has more last hits than the safe lane Alchemist.
Are you surprised?
Yes!
I can tell by the tone. Oh, that Bland there. He was going to be jumped on by Ares Loco, but he has a haste range, so that's going to be a pretty fast wisp. But actually, Erskill's going to come in with the bold lightning. He really wants ace, but never mind. He wants to jump onto Bland. Instead, Bland's going to hang around. He's still hasted. He is going to be a very tricky wisp if they want to jump onto him. But in the backlines, though, our Earthshaker is going to go down. Ace is going balls deep for kills right now. Bland, he's still going to hang around, but, well, unfortunately, the counter gank coming out from Lemondogs turns into a counter gank coming out from Flipside.
The ball lightning, he really needed to get the electric vortex straight away, although not too sure if it would have made much of a difference. Just because, well, Plan with the tether, with even a one-pointed overcharge, still reducing the incoming damage, getting so much regen going for Ace as well. That combination is filthy, and you said how important it is for a Legion Commander to get the head, and it's definitely happening at the moment. Already half the way towards his Blink Dagger, which I think is going to be his next item, or at least it should be, I believe. Alchemist has picked up a Helm of Iron Will. Is it really Helm of Dominator coming in for Alchemist?
It might not be a Helm with the Dominator, it could be an armlet as well. Because normally if you go for a Helm with the Dominator, typically you would see the Morbid Mask first, but I feel like this is going to be an armlet this game. We could be wrong, he could just be going for different item orders really, for Helm with the Dominator. But armlet on an Alchemist, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, if you pop your ultimate, you pretty much don't lose any health from that armlet, so of course you're not gaining as much either, but it definitely has its benefits. Getting extra armor is always gonna be nice in itself. Plus, maybe you can just bait out like a Finger of Death or something. You can definitely toggle it around. Hope to dodge maybe Fire Spirit Deaths, or I don't know. Still, it's such a big worry that Alchemist is freely farming completely here. If you compare the net worth to him and Lina, they have about the same amount of last hits, but the net worth difference is 1k.
1k. Oh my god. But that, yeah, Unicorn is going to be farming up really quickly. Lemondogs for a while, they had 4 heroes down the bottom lane and they wanted to jump onto the Legion Commander or the Wisp down the bottom lane, but they've been, I feel like they're just wasting their time unless they try and go for the jump on these heroes. So they do send Erskine into the jungle to actually finish up a little bit of farm, and well, the armlet just got picked up onto Unicorn. So, well, your suggestion for an armlet definitely going to be happening. We'll see how this actually works out for Flipside with this armlet. But yeah, you mentioned all the perks of picking up an armlet on an Alchemist. I pretty much agree with everything that you said. So I feel like an armlet on an Alch now, it's going to be great. It's pretty much because you're countering out the negative HP degen from the armlet with the regeneration from the chemical rage. It's like you think about it, theoretically it sounds like a really good item to pick up on Alchemist considering how cheap it is too.
It's really the chemical rage that makes it a hell of a lot more worthwhile, but look at Ace and Bland, they're just farming up the enemy jungle like nobody's business. And the supports on LD can't even do anything. Steph Style still only level 4, 10 minutes into the game, Earthshaker also 4. Whereas Bland about to hit level 6 soon enough. Ace already level 7.5 on the Legion Commander. Mid lane, Baby Knight, does he have his EU scepter? Yeah, it's coming out now, delivered just as we speak. What's their lead already? Wow, they're like 7k net worth ahead, 10 minutes in. 5k XP.
I feel like this is just the product of the Spectre pick, really. Yeah, I really wasn't expecting a Spectre pick from Lemondogs. If they wanted to go for late game, I thought they would have gone for something that could be a little bit more aggressive early and would have had a much easier time during the laning phase, but Spectre of all heroes, I really wasn't thinking Spectre would have been their choice. Like, what would you have actually suggested for Lemondogs if they wanted to still have a hero to go into the super late game, but at least have some sort of team fight presence? Actually, relocate is going to be happening in the top lane. They're going to go for the pull onto Unicorn, but well, that's not going to be a very easy target. Fisher has been thrown out, but not really going to be connecting onto anybody. Now, Storm Spirit's going to go down, and there is going to be the first duel of the game, and that's going to be Ace securing his first 10 damage, and unfortunately, Ares Loco and the Earthshake are going to have to lose that duel. So 2-0 there, unfortunately, for Lemondogs.
Yeah, and chaps, even with just Flipside fighting on the other side of the map, Spectre is still not having a free time farming up because relocate, suddenly back, and Ace back to the bottom lane with his Blink Dagger now. Laguna Blade wasn't even necessary either to kill the Storm Spirit. I really thought he used it, but I suppose he did not. This is going so out of control, but oh, bottom lane. The Supernova is forced out. Plan trying to TP. Electric Vortex does stop the TP. Chaps took a hell of a lot of damage from those Wisp Spirits, but does survive, so they get one counter kill, but in the end, it is only a support. But coming back to the hero, like, maybe even a Phantom Lancer could have been better in this situation. Create a little bit of chaos, might not get dueled that easily, for example, but Baby Knight, Evil Scepter, Light Striker, will it follow? Nope, Fisher is there. Well, Baby Knight, that was too greedy and he is gonna pay the price.
Wow, that was incredibly greedy. I guess he wasn't actually expecting so many heroes in the backlines by Lemondogs. So, well, that's going to be the death of Baby Knight, and that's going to be a massive gold. That's a massive gold hit going in the way of Lemondogs as well. Actually, there's going to be the duel onto Jabs. He's probably not going to win this, unfortunately. Stormthrower going to go for the pull. There's going to be no win for anybody, and Ace, unfortunately, he's overextended. He's on the enemy side. Global Silence has been popped. Bland, he's there to heal him up. Ace is still alive. Never mind, he is going to go down. Unfortunately, Bland, he needs to survive for 5 more seconds, but he's isolated by himself, and that's going to be the death of the Wisp. 3 down for Flipside. They didn't even get the duel off on the Spectre as well, so absolutely massive win there for Lemondogs.
Well, unfortunately, even, yes, they've got then a couple of nice just counter kills there, or maybe not even counter kills for some of them, but just straight out kills as well. But look at the Alchemist, still farming up. He has 9.5k net worth, 4k more than anybody else, and in only a short amount of 700 gold, he's gonna have a full AC finished.
Oh, Unicorn's getting so big. I feel that Flipside, they're playing their draft as pretty much 4 heroes just roaming around trying to grab kills together, and Unicorn is pretty much their investment. They've put all their money in the basket into Unicorn, and they're gonna say, okay, Unicorn, you are our late game, and we want you to come online as soon as possible, so we're going to create as much space for you. Even though we may lose a couple of these fights and the game may equalize, you should be so big by that point that we should be able to roll over Lemondogs. Now, there is a smoke up in the top lane by the 2 supports. Steph Style as well as Ares Loco is up here, although I miss a solo kill, I think, on the Spectre in the mid lane, so, well, unfortunately there for Jabs. Middle lane's not going to be safe for you. Baby Knight going to secure that kill. Now we're going to watch up top here. Unicorn may be in trouble. Now Erskine, he's going to be the one to initiate this fight with the Ball Lightning, but oh my god, they brought 4 heroes up here as well to kill Unicorn. They really want this kill.
And if they don't get it, it's going to just hurt so much because they have wasted a lot of time. They haven't gotten proper XP because they're not distributing themselves. Nobody's farming the jungle. Mid lane completely empty as well. So for Lemondogs at the moment, it's like they have to make something happen, but them maybe trying too hard or committing themselves a little bit too much to one lane to do so, it's gonna hurt them even more in the end. But the AC is now finished on the Alchemist. Jabs still trying to farm up, doesn't even have a single point into dispersion at the moment, so for Alina, easy target. A hell of a lot easier for Legion Commander to get that kill as well. And speaking of LC, Ace, he's on the hunt.
Oh, Steph Style, you may be the target here, but Ace, he's going to back up with Blan. I think they want to wait for the creep wave before they try and go for a dive on the tower, because obviously you don't want to dive the tower all the time. Krilly is here by himself, and there's no supports nearby as well, so this could be an easy pick as long as Flipside can get the vision on that Phoenix. So Baby Knight just clearing the creep wave. There's no creeps left though. I think they want to go for the jump soon. Ace is still here. We'll see if they go for it, but for the moment they're just going to hang back, play safe, and instead they might go bottom instead. And Jabs, you are in vision.
Well, Eros Loco is close by. Last time around, the Earthshaker Fisher was what just delayed the death of Spectre by a really long time. But Ace, he's just gonna come to the lane, push it out, let his presence be known, although we have a Smoke, Rise, plus Unicorn, and well, with the AC, with the minus armor, it's just gonna be a sneaky Roche for them.
God, -8 armor on the Roche as well. And look how quickly he's going down! And this is a 16-minute Roche attempt with 2 heroes. You never see Roshan go down this quickly, ever, with 2 heroes. Maybe if you get something like a Lycan plus Avenge, but that's the only other exception. Now they're going to go for the jump onto Jabs. Global Silence has been deployed, so no fish are going to be able to be thrown out by Ares Loco. They're going to commit the Laguna Blade as well. Yules onto the Earthshaker. No follow-up, unfortunately, but great kill for Flipside, plus they get the Aegis. Oh, massive kills going in the way for Flipside, but Lemondogs, they're trying to find farm elsewhere. They will grab the top tower for Erskine on the Storm Spirit. He's got 2 Oblivion Staffs, so he's getting very close to the Orchid. And once he grabs this Orchid, he desperately needs to get some kills for his team.
Will the Orchid even make that big of a difference though? I mean, yes, it's gonna be nice, but they're still gonna have to find those openings as well. And at the moment, Flipside, they may have reached the point that they have the necessary items on the Alchemist, and pretty much on everybody else as well, to really just ball up and keep on fighting like that. Although the smoke coming in from E-skills and Step Style, they have the Finger of Death, so 1 kill on Bland should be easy, and indeed it will be. Spectre haunts in as well, they use the Supernova, and they get Unicorn once, then again Chabs, wow, that damage. But well, his health pool is rather low I guess, but that Supernova stun got free. E-skills still stand up himself, but maybe able to escape, no. With the duel, they secure the kill. Krilly though, with the Sunray. How the hell did this fight go so well for Lemondogs?
I have no idea what happened actually, and well, that's a complete team wipe on the side of Flipside. They're actually gonna pop the Aegis here, so second life here for Unicorn. He's gonna pop the Concoction. He's only gonna be able to throw it to 1 hero though. Zipped forward by Erskine, and well, unfortunately Unicorn wanted to throw it on the Storm Spirit, but he actually stuns himself in the process. So well, Lemondogs literally get a complete team wipe in their favor. And I can't even imagine how much gold they would have gotten out of that as well. We'll take a look at the graphs once they actually update, but all of a sudden, Lemondogs, they're suddenly relevant in this game.
Well, there's still a long way for them to go, because Spectre is still so underfarmed. If Spectre had survived the entirety of that fight, it would have been better. Plus, of course, Storm Spirit also had to buy back for the kill on the Alchemist there, or the secondary kill at least. We do have now a BKB finished of all items on the Phoenix. Something I at least haven't seen all that often, maybe once, but Lion also gonna have his Blink plus a level 2 Finger of Death now. That was massive, but I mean, yes, you killed off the IO first, and looks like that may have been the correct target to go for, just being able to mitigate so much extra healing and so much extra damage reduction.
Yeah. The BKB onto Krilly, I feel like the only reason he's picked up this BKB is to negate the global silence from the silencer. So Rise, he's not going to be too much of a factor for Krilly, so long as Krilly manages to pop the BKB after the global silence, so he can still throw all of his spells, so that the Phoenix is not just a sitting duck, literally, when he's going to be silenced at Baby Knight. They're going to try and go for a solo kill. He will get it though onto Erskine, and actually Steph Styles missing the stun by quite a margin there. That's a bit unfortunately, and Relocate going to be thrown out as well. And well, Lion, you're going to give some free damage to Ace, and Krilly, he's still got the dive available, but will they try and go for Ace though? They managed to stun him up with the fissure, and they're going to be sending him back with Bland back to the bottom lane, so they're quite safe. Easy picks there for Flipside, and they lose nobody as well.
The Flipside, they are after all still quite far ahead. I mean, even though they got one pretty nice fight, it's still a 10k net worth deficit, or was 10k at that point. And now XP, it was really closing in on the 0 mark, but now probably gonna be back towards the point where it was beforehand. Now Unicorn also has a BKB, so Alchemist, his life is gonna be a lot easier now as well. And although LD showed signs of life, they have to get another one. Last fight, of course, the great fight, Phoenix, he had like a 3-man Supernova stun, I believe. That's probably like one of the best ones I've seen at all.
The best 3-man Supernova, Couchor. I don't think you've seen, or I don't think you remember enough Phoenix games. I'm pretty sure there have been a couple of games where there have been some really nice Phoenix Supernova eggs, but
I mean,
a lot
I
of
just
the
think
times,
like the stun actually landing on 3 people is kind of impressive, I think.
yeah. Maybe Flipside, they were trying to focus. I don't know. I didn't actually get to see the Supernova egg because I was watching things elsewhere. I'm very sorry, but were they actually trying to focus down the Supernova egg, or were they trying to finish off those heroes quickly
they were
as
trying to
possible
go
in
for
the
the other
retro game?
heroes.
Yeah, that might be why. Because if you look at Flipside's draft, they try to burst these heroes down as soon as possible. And did you see the secondary armlet picked up on the side of Flipside? They've got one on Ace now, so he's going to be hitting a little bit harder. He is going to be a bit more tanky, and there will be chances for him to go for those toggles. And actually, I'm watching down the bottom lane. That's a bit of a misplay there coming up from Flipside. They really keyed in, but essentially they gave away 3 kills to Lemondogs. Oh my god, what actually happened?
I've got no idea. I was checking top lane, I was just following the Alchemist because his net worth is absolutely mesmerizing to me, but E-skills,
Couchor.
he got like 1500 gold or something from this. The Storm Spirit suddenly up to 2.5. Can go for his own BKB if that's what he wants, just to negate that Global Silence as well, which I think he's gonna want. Oh, they might get the kill on Rise. Oh no, Krillin couldn't quite end his Icarus dive on the high ground. Sunray is also used. Rise still dropping low. The Fire Spirits won't quite be enough. Step style. Blink coming off cooldown in 3 seconds. Is he gonna go for it? Plan. He's the one to get stunned instead. So they miss on that kill. So unfortunate for Krillin to just end that Icarus dive a split second too late.
Yeah, little unfortunate there. We do just see a Basher picked up onto Unicorn. It's just being delivered on the courier now, so he's going to go for an Abyssal Blade as his next item pickup, and with the extra attack speed that he'll be getting from not just the Chemical Rage but also the Armlet, he's going to be bashing a considerable amount during these fights, and well, that's very, very scary, especially when you're like up against that Storm Spirit as well as the Spectre. In particular, if you get those lucky bashes on a Storm, that could essentially end his life. Because if you look how squishy Storm is, he's only sitting at 1k HP. Yes, he's got an Orchid, but that's about it. He's getting close to a BKB though, and Baby Knight with an Invisibility Rune. There's a Sentry Ward that was just put down, so they should know this. There's a Zip Ward coming out from Ersky, and that's going to be pretty much the death of Baby Knight. He's going to yield himself into the air, but there's so many heroes here that Lina will not be able to survive the damage burst. That was very unfortunate there for Baby Knight. That was such a Sentry Ward. Such a ward.
Yeah, it's just big props to the supports there, having a sentry down like that. Not too sure if they knew about the Invis rune or if they saw it getting picked up. I think they did. So, or the sentry. Yeah, it was a rather fresh one as well, so they were expecting it. It was a semi-bait, of course, Storm Spirit. Had he been a little bit farther up, may have still gotten picked off, for example, but that is BKB finished on the Storm Spirit. Suddenly not looking that bad. The one thing that's probably like completely weighing down LD at the moment is their Spectre. Just look at his net worth. It's only 800 above the Lion. And what does he have? Power Treads, Yasha, and an Urn of Shadows, that's it.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but from here on, I'm actually hoping Jabs can get some space that he so desperately needs, so he can actually grab some items to be in fighting form. Because for the moment, he provides very little. He doesn't really want to be in the fight if possible. Maybe just try and go for a swift last hit on a hero maybe and just go. Maybe throw an Urn Charge here and there, but your Spectre just can't stay in the fights. He's just too squishy, too easy of a target to take down. Look how quickly the tower went down. That was just a couple of chops from Ace and that was about it. Ace has actually got 48 extra damage so far in this game, so the free damage, it's going to start helping him chop into these very, very chewy heroes on the side of Lemondogs. And already, high ground attempt coming out from Flipside, 24 minutes into the game.
You're just forcing out maybe a couple of reactions from LD. Just making it so that the heroes can't farm up elsewhere on the map. Unicorn though, he just doesn't give a damn. Goes to the top lane, will continue farming there. He's gonna soon enough have that Abyssal Blade, 20,000 net worth. He has surpassed, I think, 800 mark now, yes, in gold per minute. Oh, Alchemist. Why don't we see that hero more? Of course, this time around it was perfect to just go for an Alchemist after the Spectre, but mid lane, they get the Electric Vortex. They even get the Global Silence to be used, and it just wasn't enough to save the Lina. Finger of Death came out just before the Global Silence, so they had the necessary burst there. And that's just another kill, so LD, although they still have a long way to go, at least they're making the right steps.
Yeah. To answer your question, actually, as to why the Alchemist is not picked up as much as you'd like him to be, it's just because it's been mentioned in chat, actually. I was reading chat while you were talking, that Alchemist, he really is impacted by the rubber band effect. Although the stun going to be connecting onto Ersky and the Abyssal Blade as well. That's going to be the Storm down. There's even going to be an Earthshaker in the backline, and Spectre going to go down as well. The only hero down for Flipside is that Lina. The stun will connect onto 3 heroes, and this is where Lemondogs, they need to make a getaway. Krillin going to go on the high ground, so Phoenix will be fine, as well as Steph Style on the Lion. But bit of a tragic fight in the mid lane for Lemondogs. The Abyssal Blade really hurting that Storm Spirit. And he didn't even pop his BKB either, but that wouldn't have saved him from the Abyssal anyway.
Yeah, it was just way too fast by the Alchemist there, and Storm Spirit still doesn't have that great of a health pool because he didn't go for the Bloodstone. So, and you have to think about it, it was a 4-on-5 fight, or Flipside, there was only 4 of them just because Lina got picked off beforehand. It's just really hard. Unicorn had his BKB activated. What do LD do to a Chemical Rage BKB Alchemist? They probably lack the damage to kill him, even with the Finger of Death.
They actually have a really good hero that plays against this Alchemist, and You're going to be surprised. Well, actually, you shouldn't be. But it is the Phoenix with the Sunray. It's percentage-based damage, and it really works against the Alchemist. It pretty much negates a lot of the healing that he gets, especially when he gets incredibly tanky with some of those strength items, that the more HP that Unicorn has, the less effective the bonus HP regen he actually gets in that Chemical Rage form. And he technically takes more damage the more HP he gets against that Phoenix. So I feel like Krilly, he's playing a very important role in this game, but he might not know this. He might, I'm not too sure. He's playing the hero, I'm not. I'm just pretty much spectating him at this point. But I like this decision coming out from Lemondogs. They want to grab a kill. They know they're behind. They're trying to find one in the jungle, but everyone on Flipside, they're down towards the bottom, and I think they just want to steal the stack, and I think they're waiting for... Roche is actually up, though, so Unicorn can just go for the solo Roche. No vision here as well, so Lemondogs won't even know this is going on, and I'm not even going to say how quickly this is going to happen, because it might be down by the time I finish this sentence.
Wow, that was fast, without any, like, additional minus armor sources, just working with the AC spray as well as the Assault Cuirass. Wow, man, Flipside, they're doing most of the things correctly. Yes, it hasn't been a just perfect game by any means, but it certainly feels perfect enough. I mean, 15,000 net worth lead this early on. XP, not that big of a lead at all, only about 3k or so, but if you have just that many items to really help out, it probably doesn't even matter. Another nice Fisher though, coming out from Ares Local, definitely delaying the high ground push as Krilly. That Sunray, I have to say, did nothing, but coming back shortly to the topic of why the Alchemist isn't picked up as much, the rubber band, it's still so much better than Spectre, because Spectre, of course Spectre should be a little bit more situational. I think they should have expected an IO, Legion Commander possible dual offlane, and they just weren't reading the draft of Flipside enough, I think.
Steps out, blink forward, he wants to jump right onto Baby Knight. There's the global silence as well, but it doesn't really matter. They do finish off the Lina, but in the meantime, Storm Spirit gonna go down. Supernova Egg is gonna be focused down as well. Bland, though, he might be finished off, never mind. That's gonna be the Abyssal, taking down the Storm Spirit. He bought back as well, so that's gonna be the dieback. Echo Slam, gonna be finishing off that silencer. There is gonna be the buyback from and relocate coming out from Bland. He wanted to help Ace to try and grab a kill, but 3 heroes essentially 3, 4, too many heroes went down for Flipside. But they're still here for the high ground push, and unfortunately for Lemondogs, they won't have their Storm Spirit because he bought back and died again.
You would think he's not that squishy, but he really died with like 3-4 hits of the Alchemist or so. Legion Commander maybe helped out with a couple, but he just really died within a matter of seconds. Like one bash and he was more or less dead already, couldn't even ball lighting anymore. That fight... At least they got a couple of kills, they force an IO buyback as well, but they lose racks still. They don't even have the greatest lineup in dealing with the racks. The one nice thing is that Spectre can always be pushing out the lane and join the fight with Faunt if necessary. But this Spectre, he's gonna keep kill the creep wave so slow. 96 points of damage, no Radiance, no Cleave or anything. I don't know, I really think Flipside probably have this game in the bag, but LD, they may still surprise us if they maybe like get a Blink Dagger on Earthshaker, for example, get some great Echo Slams.
Yeah, it just felt like Lemondogs really drafted themselves into a hole with that Spectre pick. They needed to just have a decent laning phase so that the Spectre still got decent farm, would have had items to actually be able to do something in the fights, but because he was denied so much of that space down the bottom lane because of the aggressive dual lane coming up from Flipside, and the fact that Jabs, he's been trying to fight in these team fights as well. He's died 5 times so far. He's been getting a couple assists, but you wouldn't even think this was a carry. You'd probably think this is a very underfarmed offlaner if you look at Jabs in the kind of position that he is. He's nowhere. He's nothing. I think the only way I could see Jabs ever coming back with any sort of gold is for him to just survive a good team fight for Lemondogs. That's all he has to do. But when you're at the
that's all.
When you're a 1.2k HP Spectre, yeah, if you're a 1.2k HP Spectre, you have very bleak chances in just surviving this, because Flipside, they will prioritize the Spectre. I do not want him to get anything in the team fight, so props to Flipside in terms of who they prioritize for some of these engagements so far.
Well, it's not even hard to like prioritize a Spectre, so to say, because Spectre comes in, they don't even need to just like focus on him, because he dies to like random AoE damage with the amount of farm he has. And the thing is, yes, with the Desolate does give him extra damage, but they can for the most part even ignore the Spectre if they really want to, in all fairness.
Yeah, they absolutely can. Or they can just get Baby Knight to Laguna Blade him, throw 2 more spells, and that's pretty much your Spectre gone. And keep in mind, Baby Knight has spells that can be easily spammed, and actually, that's with the jump in from Steph Stars. He wanted to go onto Bland, but unfortunately, he will go down, but they do get their target, which was going to be the Wisp, and they're going to try and finish up the Supernova. Can they do it, though? Flipside is going to be stunned up. Ace, he's by himself. They're going to lose the Silencer, and Ace, he's here. He's actually still here with Unicorn. Laguna Blade was thrown out onto the Earthshaker, and he's going to drop down. Baby Knight, they're going to be up against Krilly, but he will be denying himself to the creeps. Never mind, he does die to the damage over time. Unicorn is still here, though, with Ace. It's a 2-on-2 fight so far, but it's a Spectre that survived.
To be honest,
Oh, man.
LD, considering the disadvantage that they have item-wise, they're fighting so ridiculously well. I have no idea how they're getting that many kills. Of course, the jump was nice, but I think LD would have completely wiped this fight if Storm Spirit didn't preemptively BKB. He had the BKB activated, but then the Global Silence came out, meaning that Storm Spirit couldn't use his spells anymore. Had it been the other way around, we would have possibly looked like a 4-for-1 fight even, or something like that.
Yeah, it could have been, but what's done is done so far, and this is the last set of Raxes left for Lemondogs, and everyone's starting to come up. There's one set, that's actually one Rax left in Unicorn. He might go down, BKB deployed, and they're going to just jump right onto Steph Styles. That's going to be the dual damage going in the way of Ace as well, and that's going to be Krilly diving out of the fray. Met's mega creep so far for Flipside, for Lemondogs. And that's the GG call as well coming out from Steph Styles. They know they can't come back. They're just too far behind to even contest. Flipside, and Era's like, he wants to go for a solo kill onto Ace, but unfortunately not enough damage, and well, the Ancient pretty much goes down before the Legion Commander does.
So Flipside, we can say it was a rather convincing performance by them. Of course, LD definitely showed that they can take some pretty nice fights, but in the end, even if you like break even in a fight, just otherwise their farm in the minutes that they weren't fighting, it was just subpar compared to Flipside. By a huge margin. Alchemist, of course, farming up like a madman, 909 gold per minute. Exactly what you expect from a first level Grievous Greed Alchemist as well, having pretty much a complete free farm lane as well. So Flipside, they even up the series, which means we didn't have that awkward best of one kind of thing for today. We are gonna have one more game here. So Flipside versus Lemondogs, game number 3 coming up in just a couple of minutes.